Bioregional development is arguably the most important aspect of the permaculture movement, in my opinion. It's detailed in the last chapter of the Permaculture Design Manual that was written by Bill Mollison. Um, on page 510, it details bioregional organization as a bioregional association of the residents of a natural and identifiable region. This region is sometimes defined by a watershed, sometimes defined uh, by remnant or existing tribal or language boundaries, at times by town boundaries, suburban streets, or districts, and at times by some combination of the above factors. Many people identify with their local region or neighborhood and know its boundaries. There is an obvious conflict between the need to live in a region in a responsible way, bioregional centrality, and the need to integrate with other people in other places, global outreach. We need not only to think globally and act locally, but to act and think globally and locally. Um, Essentially, what it does is detail hundreds of critical jobs that would be required to self-sustain in a community. So it is tribal-like. Um, Essentially, all your needs would be met locally. So that includes medical, clothes, building materials, nurseries, elderly care, tree nurseries. There's hundreds of jobs, and these are the jobs that our schools and colleges and universities need to be distilling down and injecting into our kids. They're not training them for the jobs of the future. These jobs have been marching us all into a workforce that's been, by and large, deeply destructive. Um, and if we ever want to rebuild our middle class and to restore our mom and pops and find a job that garnishes some sort of self-interest and sense of meaning to an individual, if we don't want to be rendered irrelevant through AI and shipping our jobs overseas or just automation, then this really is the only game in town. This is the only move that we could collectively make. People that are already set in their ways and have long-winded careers and a high skill of any one thing, you can leverage that and point it in the direction of this movement. If you're a photographer, you could take pictures of it. If you're an author, write a book about it or a blog about it. If you're a teacher, teach this. Anyway, uh, I laid out a very detailed game plan as far as how we could roll this out nationwide. So let's check that out. This is a list of all of the community colleges that are found in my state. There's 15 of them. And what I've done is map them out, circled their main campus locations with a 5, 10, and 25-mile radius. If we go after the community college as the main central hub to prop up, they've got alumni funding, state funding, federal funding. They've got the structures there. They've got the classrooms. But what we could do is we could design and build them an edible landscape to where they can teach indoor and outdoor things that pertain to permaculture and other regenerative agricultural techniques. There's plenty of things that they could be teaching. If they taught those things to those students, and then those students then went out into their local communities and propped up their own jobs, then we can have a circular economy that's centralized around an agrarian lifestyle, and it would be deeply healing to the planet. It would ensure food security,
And I think it would build community and it would stabilize a very hostile situation that we find ourselves in. So I think that's a good idea to reach out to the permaculture designers that are out there in their communities that they may or may not have set up a homestead or a demonstration site. But um, if we partner with those that are already embedded in their communities and we bring this technology and this clear vision of the landscape, then they can advise their local government officials, city planners. They can team up with conservancy efforts and forestry efforts, setting up nature corridors. They could be working with everybody who has a tractor to go out and terraform their landscapes so that we can start banking water in the ground instead of pulling it up. Um, I mean, we could be deeply impactful if each community was to focus and proliferate inside that 25-mile radius. If every college campus in every state and country, then we could act in unison almost and rapidly change the situation.